either it got done and they never paid, or like they, they canceled the thing that they were going to do. The business could have benefited from it, but they didn't. I mean, there's nothing to support that, but
yeah,
that would be interesting.
It would be interesting. I think, I mean, I didn't read the whole book, but from what I was reading in the book, the way that people like went to bid for contract, it made it sound like as soon as you didn't get the bid, you were just like, oh, whatever. But like, yeah, if they got the bid and then Glico like backstabbed them, I don't think that would have gone
right. Or they had the best bid, but Glico went with someone else.
Well, from what I was reading though, because they are like Yakuza too, and I feel like because the Yakuza, like you're in the Yakuza, but you also have a legitimate business. A lot of other people are doing this too. So like the deal is decided before you even go in the room.
Right. You, like they do here now.
Yeah, right. Like, so even if it's like, oh, I have the best one, it's more like whoever's the strongest in the Yakuza is gonna get the bid.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like if they like didn't follow through with like payment or something, then they would just be killed or something. Like, I don't think they'd go through
yeah, that's true.
This like crazy stuff to get that. But I don't know. I mean,
me making up theories based on nothing.
Right. I feel like it'd be more based, like, more upfront if that were the case. And there are a couple other suspects that come out that I'll tell you about, but they handle some other stuff more upfront too, so it's kind of like probably not. But yeah, that's all the background I'm going to talk about, because again, his book's like 600 pages. I didn't read it all, but if anyone wants to read his book, you can get it. Well, I think the actual book's expensive, but it's on Kindle Unlimited for some reason. This is where I read it, but yeah, so he admits he looks exactly like the sketch. And also when the sketch was released, he had police following him like prior to that, and he says he like had no idea why they were, but he just assumed it was from his like past actions, because he is not a good guy.
Right, he was already.
Yeah. And also, like, once the sketch was released, he had friends in the Yakuza like commending him on sticking it to the police and like asking for money, and he like maintained even with them that he was innocent. So I feel like that's a little weird. Like, wouldn't you brag?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe,
especially in the underworld,
yeah,
which he's involved in.
Right. And he said too, he found out about it because he had just moved in to a new place, because during bankruptcy, he didn't have any money, so he had to get an apartment, and his landlord came in and asked him what he had done, and he turned on the TV and saw the sketch and heard the story that way. So
what a way to find out.
Right. So yeah, I don't think he did it, but we can first go into the evidence that he could be. All the things that do line up with why literally every single person thought it was him once they saw the sketch. So they really went after him hard. But first, obviously the Yakuza background, because everyone suspects that Yakuza was involved in some way. He has a very bad attitude and behavior towards cops that is very well known. His time as a student activist at Waseda University had a lot of clashing with the police too, and like obviously he was a communist part of that group and like anti-government and anti-establishment. And
he seems really into it.
Yes.
Like he was not a fringe member.
Right. He's like a key member. Like he organized protests and stuff. So also his recklessness financially with the family business until it went bankrupt. So at the time, again, he had a lot of debts that maybe he'd want like the ransoms for. Also, prior to this, I guess he manipulated the media when he was on the wanted list for fraud related to corporate extortion. Okay.
So not his first rodeo.
Right. And he's like manipulated the media. So kind of like what this group's doing with the letters to the media and stuff.
Right.
And then Also, like, obviously his resemblance that even he himself says he looks exactly like the fox-eyed man. And also a fun fact that I did not know where to put it, so I'm putting it here, that the paper used for the letters, like all 147 of them, was bought at a stationery shop in Injo. And this paper is special to Injo and can only be found there. And the stationery shop is a long-standing supplier for his family's company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of crazy. And then...
There's no way he didn't do it. I'm sold. That's it.
All right, there's more. Let me keep going. Okay, but there's other suspects. Listen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think it was him, just because he maintains it so much. But maybe I got propagandized by his book or something.
I'm sure this won't be the first time I'm sold on a suspect, so...
Yeah, let me continue why it could have been him. Because there's more. So prior to the start of this case, like during those labor disputes that I was talking about with Glico, Miyazaki seems to have been involved in supporting the union side of it because he was very pro-union too. So he helped them like organize protests. And also investigators during the Glico Morinaga case obtained testimony that Miyazaki and his associates were orchestrating things behind the scenes during like all of the union conflicts with Glico. Yeah. And like when protests were organized after the river contamination, he also helped organize those. And also in a police report, he is implicated in the resignation of a union leader over irregularities in the union's accounting that came to light when Glico Foods and Glico Ham merged, like prior to this case too.
Oh, wow.
So, like, he is involved in the union, specifically Glico.
He obviously, yeah, he's not a huge fan of Glico.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he says he's just for the people, but yeah. So, also, like, he lived in Kyoto for a while trying to help his family company where this stuff kind of was happening. So 2 years before the case started, his company that he ran was located on the route in Kyoto that the cash delivery van was told to take when they blackmailed House Foods. And also he had work sites and clients near the Rito interchange where the station wagon chase happened.
Wow.
And he also had sites near the Riverside warehouse where Izaki was held, and near the photocopy center where they believe the letters were photocopied by the group for mailing out. So he knows the area very well.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Also, someone who was affiliated with his relative's company had the same model typewriter that the group said they used for the letters, which I tried to find how many of these were in production. I could not. So I don't know if that's very significant or not.
Right, it could go either way.
Yeah.
But...
Also, one of his relatives has a car the same make as the one spotted at the scene when Izaki was kidnapped.
I mean, he sure looks suspicious for an innocent man.
Yeah. He is also associated with the Yakuza who blackmailed Izaki Glico after his son cut himself when opening a can containing a Glico product.
That seems dramatic, but maybe that's like the McDonald's like hot coffee thing where actually the company was definitely in the wrong, but
right. Well, I feel like it's kind of just some Yakuza can be extreme.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, there was just a lot more that I could not list. There was like some stuff with like the different cars that were involved with other chases or whatever that had like similar license plate that ended in the same 3 digits, but they couldn't get the first digits.
Oh, so it's possible they're like swapping.
Well, like it matched a relative of his car for the 3 digits at the end, but it's like, well, how? You don't know the other digits, so there's like a lot of circumstantial like that.
Of course there is.
Yeah. But yeah, the police really went after him hard because of all of his other stuff that they already knew about him.
Right. He's already, like, an enemy of the state.
Yeah. But they're never able to refute his alibis. So let's get into those. So, for both times they saw the fox-eyed man, he has an alibi for each of them. That's solid. So on February 10th, 2 police officers showed up to his door to ask questions, and they asked a lot of different questions and asked him eventually, like, where he was when they saw the fox-eyed man, which he referenced his diary because this happened again, like, you know, months prior, so he didn't remember. But his diary, he wrote for June 28th, he was attending a union meeting at a college of music, and for November 14th, he was in Tokyo consulting with his lawyer. So obviously the police didn't believe him because it was just written in a diary.
Right.
And they asked for his phone right then to call the police station to start investigating immediately while they were still interrogating him at his house. But they were able to, like, you know, talk to his lawyer, talk to people at the union meeting, and he was there for both of those.
Like, the specific times, though? I guess you can't be in 2 places at once, but...
Right, because he was in Tokyo on the 14th when that was in Kyoto with the fox-eyed man.
And it was Tokyo to... Or what was the...
That was the train.
Yeah, but what were the 2 train stops?
Osaka and Kyoto, which are the opposite way of Tokyo.
Right. How long would it take to get there? Probably too long.
Well, hold on. So, I mean, the train... Yeah, the train was the 28th, which that was his union meeting that was at night, like at the same time.
Okay. Fine.
And then yeah, the 14th was in Kyoto where they saw the fox-eyed man, and he was in Tokyo talking to his lawyer. No, probably not the exact same time because this was at night, but I'm sure they tried every way.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna solve this, but
because they were really going after him like that.
Right.
They thought this is the guy, so they tried every way they could to, like, disprove his alibis, and they were never able to.
That's interesting. What do you think he has a brother? He has a brother? Maybe his brother looks like him.
His brother's 10 years older than him, so I don't know how much they look alike.
What if he's a secret brother?
I mean, yeah, maybe. Also, like, just because so he's not the fox-eyed man, though, is what he's saying, because he doesn't.
Right.
But he could have still been involved in some way.
That's true. Right, because he has all the makings to have been involved with this regardless.
Right. Also, at the end of, like, the section, like, of the chapter that he talks about this, he says in the book, I mean, it's translated, so I don't know exactly what he says, but he says, I avenged myself on the police who stated publicly that I was the prime suspect, but it's okay now. The case got all tangled up and remains unsolved. So it feels like, I don't know if that's just his anti-police, like, you guys suck. Because it did make his life kind of terrible while it was out.
Right.
Everyone just thought it was him.
That wrecks
But
his
also,
life.
like, that doesn't sound very good.
No.
Like, he says it like that. So, yeah. I mean, really just those 2 alibis are why they can never go after him. And, I mean, obviously they see the fox-eyed man and they think it's him. So if he has 2 alibis, then it wasn't him.
Well, how... The union meeting, like, I feel like the union could have been involved and then they just lie for him.
Right, they could. But his lawyer, I guess, would his lawyer lie?
Maybe.
Yeah.